Yes, hello everybody. Welcome back to True Crime Metrix. So we're going to be looking at Brian Walshe today, the man that's on trial, the Massachusetts murderer man that's on trial in Massachusetts. Little trigger warning, we do have an up-close and personal shot of a ceiling fan while we're waiting in the courtroom. This was going out today in the great state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. What did he do? Well, he killed his gorgeous wife. Man, she was really nice looking, successful and pretty. And yeah, killed her. But of course he doesn't say he killed her. He says that he found her like that and then hid the body. Yeah, that's the first thing I always do when I find a body. Is I think, where can I hide this? Oh, no. So, yeah, what else did he do? Well, he has this face that everybody just wants to smack. Straight away, that was his first crime. Yeah, he has resting con man, resting grifter face. Look at him. Even now, years on. I mean, so he was a grifter. He was selling people fake Andy Warhol originals or something. No, that's an original. Yeah. No, it is. It is. I mean, no, this is the print. This is the print. No, it's a sample. This is a sample of the real one we're going to bring you next week. So do you want to write me a check or... Okay, yeah. I mean, you know, selling people fake art. Oh, no, that's a swindle, right? So now he's coming into courtroom to swindle his way out of a murder charge. How well will he do? We don't know. But we're going to find out here on Metrix.
Commonwealth is represented by ADA Greg Connor, Ann Yaz, and Tracy Cusick. Counsel, starting with the Commonwealth, kindly identify yourselves.
Don't anybody mention Karen Reed.
Good morning, Your Honor. Greg Connor for the Commonwealth.
I don't want to hear the word Karen Reed. I don't even want to hear the word Massachusetts, even if it's spelt correctly. How did I do, by the way? I didn't look it up. Did I remember it correctly? I think it's Massachutts, right? That's what I think.
Morning. Good morning, Your Honor. Ann Yaz for the Commonwealth.
Veronica.
Morning, Your Honor. Tracy
Teresa Haley.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kelly Porges on behalf of Mr. Brian Walshe.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, Your Honor. Larry Tipton for Mr. Walsh.
Welcome.
I need to put this on my headphones. Otherwise there's going to be an awful echo. Output is to... Motherfucker. So we need to pair the Bluetooth already? Ah, here we go. JBL Tune Beam. JB Hell. Got it.
In the room, please be seated. Let me start by a few things that I had on my radar for this morning, and then a few things that you put on my radar last night. Wrapping up our statistics with regard to our impanelment, I just want to put on the record, on the last day of jury impanelment, we saw 45 jurors. 30 of those answered yes to question 5, 2 were seated. 1 person answered yes to question 8, 0 people were seated. And I think if my math is accurate, and I'm sure one of you will correct me if I'm not, at the end of the impanelment, the Commonwealth exercised 4 peremptories, the defense exercised 8 peremptories. There are
We've got kind of a windswept judge here, haven't we? I'd like to take her out for some clams.
Few motions that have been circulating in the last few hours, and I want to first address with the parties.
Oh, hang on. What's Massachusetts famous for? Beans, not clams. I'd like to take her out for some beans. Any kind. Kidney, chili bean, butter bean. She could be my butter bean. Baked, just plain old baked beans in tomato sauce on toast. Put anything on toast.
It doesn't have a paper number, but has a title of defendant's motion eliminate to exclude the evidence of the hole in the ceiling at the Walsh residence and the remainder of that. To which,
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Let's get in an early request. How about if we exclude the evidence? How about that? Huh? It's not allowed in. None of it. So, are we winning?
the Commonwealth opposed to either party wish to be heard on that in oral argument.
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, with respect to the ceiling, I'd rest on the papers. However, with the Richard Walker email, through an investigation, nothing ties this email ruse to Mr. Walsh. We have indicated that we have no intention on crossing on this, on making this an issue in the case. So it really is just a red herring that could be potentially inflammatory. It has no relevance. As the court knows, he pled to misleading, and this is not consciousness of guilt. This doesn't go to malice because nothing is tied to him. So I don't think it should be submitted to the jury.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the email was being put in to show the thoroughness of the investigation. The police received it as one of the many tips, and they actually asked the defendant.
God, I want to soundbite that judge saying thank you. That's what I can play later when I'm imagining her gratitude after I pay for all the beans we eat.
About the name in one of the interviews. And so that is why the Commonwealth was seeking to enter the email, so it would show why the police were asking about this particular name.
Defense's motion is denied. The evidence will be admitted. It is relevant to the issues, even with regard to the issue of Richard Walker. The Commonwealth gets to prove its case and prove that it was thorough. In its case, I'll permit it in my discretion. There's another motion that you raised by email to Madam Clerk yesterday or last night. With regard to the
Another crime's going on?
emails of Mr. Fasto. And I asked this morning, Madam Clerk, to ask you, what paper are you talking about? Because I know it was a long break, but I don't remember reviewing Mr. Fasto's emails since the time I reviewed them in connection with the grand jury. And that was in connection with the summer motions that we had. I got back, and oh, it's paper number 200. It's not paper number 200. Paper number 200 has to do with defendant's own text messages. So as a preliminary matter, we can handle it down the line unless somebody feels that they are going to have a problem with that in terms of your opening statements. Do you know what I mean? All right. So is there a problem with
I got no problem at all with you, Judge. Just tell me what to do.
that, not resolving that for the Commonwealth?
I was going to reference a image that was sent to Mr. Fastow in my opening.
Is that the photo of Anna Walsh and her son?
Yes. And the basis for that, Your Honor, is that Mr. Mutlu acknowledges in an interview that it was sent to Mr. Fastow that evening. And so that
Mr. Mutlu? Man, I can't wait to meet him.
was where the good faith basis was to mention it. So I was intending to mention it. Also, the defendant acknowledged a text of that photo in one of the interviews.
All right, is there a problem with that aspect of it?
So, Mr. Mutlu saying that someone told him that this photo was sent is hearsay.
No, Mr.
However-
Mutlu sent the photo to Mr.
No, what they're saying is that Anna Walsh sent the photo to Mr. Fasto in this series of text exchanges. So it's contained in the text messages that we're objecting to.
All right, what paper number is it?
Your Honor, this was the government's motion in limb to admit text messages.
That's
So-
of the defendant. That's a different issue entirely.
I don't know, Your Honor. They had moved to admit text messages. I don't know the paper number. It's just the...
It's the defendant's text messages that they moved to admit.
No, there were text messages. There's also, maybe it's the nature of the relationship. Is it that one you're thinking of, Ms. Cusick?
Oh,
Somebody give me a paper number so I can get on the same page with you.
Your Honor,
Oh,
it's paper
I'll give you a
200.
paper
It's
number
the Commonwealth's
all
motion
day
to admit
long.
text messages. The last paragraph deals with Mr. Fasto.
Somebody give me a paper number so I can get on the same page as you. God. Just tell me what page of the menu. Yeah, what a great judge. Already. Just when the judge knows the case better than the defense counsel, it's going to be a good show.
That one, the victim's text messages.
To which I wrote, in my effort to be ever transparent, this is going back to motion in limine number 13. Paper
I wish that gown were ever transparent. Jesus Christ. What are you doing to me with that smoldering tone?
number 197. That's not right.
Your Honor, I believe I have it as paper number 199, which is Commonwealth's motion eliminate 13.
Here's what I'm going to suggest. The Commonwealth, I assume, intends to offer, or this testimony would be offered through Mr. Fasto. When is he testifying?
This week, Your Honor, I think maybe Thursday.
All right, then we deal with it later on down the line. And,
That
all
my own.
right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the other motion that was filed, same question. And that has to do with the Commonwealth's motion to eliminate to exclude the defendant from making any reference of his plea of guilty to the disinterment and to the lying to the police. Is that impacted by anyone's, is that going to, not ruling on that, is that going to impact anyone's opening?
It will not affect the Commonwealth's opening. We're looking to avoid it.
Will not.
It will not?
There's only one opening I want to know about, Judge. Tell me about your opening.
It will not for opening, no.
All right, so I just want to be
I hope nothing's going to affect your opening.
as transparent and as clear as I can be on the record. So I have not ruled on that, which means failing to rule it at this point, which I'm happy to rule on it. But I don't think the law is going to get any clearer because there is no law on this. But that means that's going to put limitations on the defense in terms of what you can open on, right?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
All right, I just want to make sure that we're all speaking the same
No, I like limitations. Sure.
language.
Speaking the same language. Would that be the language of love?
Judge, just so there's no surprise,
Speak French to me, Judge. Say baguette. Say baguette right now. And bouffe. And pamplemousse. Tell me how much you love pamplemousse.
There is a statement in my opening that said he lied to police. That doesn't trigger this issue.
And he can say that. He can.
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize.
Well, to the extent that you need to hear it out of my mouth, he can say that.
Out of your mouth? Really? Is that where this is going?
He can say, I misled the police. He can say, I lied to the police.
Neither of those sound very good. He can tell them he misled police. He can say, I lied to police. Great. Good start.
All right. Are there any more preliminary matters? We have 16 jurors in the House. My intention with regard to them is to inquire of them first thing now, after I greet them, and ensure myself by asking them 3 questions that I go through. It's actually 4 in this case because I added the social media, no news media. I'll presume for the sake of argument right now that all of them are going to have been obedient to that. If they aren't, of course, we'll deal with it and we'll address it. And we'll go from there. If we get, we still have...
French toast. I wish I was a piece of French toast right now. Covered in maple syrup. Dripping.
16 in the box, we'll swear them in. And then we'll be off and running. Any questions about that?
No.
Come up.
Your Honor, no question about that. There are some housekeeping matters. Counsel wished to have 4 witnesses recognized. I have them here. And in addition, we had a series of stipulations that we wanted to present to the court.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. And forgive me
Good
because
choice.
I was focusing on the Richard Walker email. I didn't hear your judgment on the whole.
Judge comes first. Remember that.
In the ceiling.
On the what?
The hole in the ceiling.
The entirety of that motion is denied.
Okay. So with that, I could have the officers that counsel wishes to recognize be brought in, and we could have them recognized right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to sign that? Sure.
I'd like to bring up one issue.
Before this?
It doesn't matter. I'll wait till they're recognized and I'll bring it up.
All right, good morning, everyone. Just identify yourself for the record. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So you're all in here because the defense wants you to be recognized, which means that you're under court order. You need to make yourself available for this trial whenever you're told, and the lawyers will be back in contact with you when you are actually needed as the case goes along. Do you understand? Yes, and you.
How weird would that be to be part of that group? Hey, you're another one that Brian Walshe's defense is calling, huh? So do you think he's gonna get off, or how weird would that be? You're all in an elevator or going up an escalator together.
Agree to come back? Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I'm handing up to the clerk 3 series of stipulations. One is concerning the Richard Walker email, now that it's going to be admissible. We believe that stipulation could be read to the jury. There is also a stipulation concerning the chain of custody of the known DNA samples, which would negate the need to call certain witnesses from the FBI. And then finally, there's a stipulation.
FBI?
This third one does not need to be read to the jury, but it's just for the record and could be marked as for ID, concerning financial records. And so we were going to have that. And then...
Yeah, financial records, fine. All I did was sell that moody painting of Elvis and Marilyn. But apart from that, my financial records are in top order. But this thing about the FBI, I don't think we need them. I want to stipulate.
Also, I believe we have a stipulation concerning the federal conviction and federal charges.
All right. So I'll have these all marked for identification at this point. I don't usually send stipulations.
Oh, so that would be the fake arts then. That'd be possibly what? In interstate commerce? That'd be a federal crime.
To the jury, I just consider it like any other evidence, and by sending it in as a special something, it seems to me to improperly highlight that evidence. They've got to remember what the stipulations are. That said, if they ask me back what the stipulations were, I typically answer that question.
Yes,
but
Your
I don't send them in. So I'll have them marked individually for identification. Where are we right now with regard to that? All right, D for dog is the stipulation regarding Richard Walker. E will be the...
Can it be D for doggy? Let's make it D for doggy, Judge. How about that?
Stipulation regarding the DNA samples of Anna Walsh and Brian Walsh. F will be the stipulation regarding authentication of records. And G will be...
So what's F stand for? Come on, Judge. You can say it. Come on, Judge. It's okay, they know. What does F stand for?
the stipulation regarding the federal prosecution of the defendant. And when we get to the point in the case that you wish me to read those stipulations, just cue me by ID number that this is the time you want them to be read.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right?
That's it for the Commonwealth for housekeeping.
All right. Attorney Tipton.
First, the preliminary instructions, we're asking that no consciousness of guilt preliminary instruction be given.
I don't...
The only preliminary instructions I need is take off your boots. Now take off your belt.
have one in there. All I have is the elements of first-degree murder by premeditation and the normal, beyond a reasonable doubt, and presumption of innocence, all that stuff. But there's nothing about COG in there.
Okay. And secondly, our understanding was that the sentencing was going to occur today. Are we wrong about that?
I don't know that we set the day to take place, but I also don't think it's going to have bearing on the ruling on that other motion, if you're concerned about that.
I guess the next question is, does the court know when sentencing would be scheduled?
Well, we can talk about it. Nobody was pressing the issue, but now maybe that's changed. I think when we took the plea last Tuesday, or maybe it was the Tuesday before, right? We had talked about giving the Commonwealth sufficient time to get a victim impact statement in. I haven't seen that. At some point,
I'll give you an impact statement. You want an impact statement? You got it, Judge.
it sort of felt to me like maybe we just do it all together. If there's a conviction at the end, if not, I'll just sentence him on the other two charges. But I don't have any, firm beliefs about whether it needs to be done before or after. So if either party wants me to do it sooner rather than later, put the other side on notice that the victim impact statements need to be to me by a certain date so that I consider them. And if there's anything beyond in writing that the defense wants me to consider, I'm happy to consider that too. So,
We'll talk to the Commonwealth.
all right, sounds good.
They think they're so high and mighty, don't they? We'll talk to the Commonwealth. How many states can you do that in? Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Massachusetts, and there's one more. What is it? Maybe... Virginia? I don't know. Let's look it up. What are the Commonwealth states? Oh, yeah. Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Boom! Let's go to the maps. It's been a while since we went to the maps. Oh, hey, don't forget, we've got the Modern app for you to support the channel on PayPal on the Modern app. Look at that, so easy. Just go to the app, support the channel, support the goddamn channel on PayPal. Link into the description. But no, first we want to see the maps. Where are the maps? What about this one? Yes, that will do. Look at it. So do we need any more Commonwealths? We have Kentucky. We have Pennsylvania. We have Massachusetts. And we have Virginia. Hang on. Oh yeah, there it is. God damn it. Virginia, you always get away. So what do we need? Wyoming, North Dakota, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. I want to get Rhode Island today. Okay, it's right next to fucking Massachusetts there. Look at it. That's what we need. Providence, here we come. Look at him there. Even the back of his head looks fishy.
Indictment. Singular.
Come on, Walsh. Get up. Stand up when the judge comes into the room.
Remain standing.
Come on, prosecution.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons having anything to do with the Honorable Justice Diane Fernandez.
Oh, I really hate that. Karen Reed flashbacks. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Yeah, we get it. Commonwealth, great.
Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, draw near, give your attendance and you shall be heard. Those at the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in this honorable court, please be seated. Please turn off your cell phones.
I'll turn off my cell phone when the judge tells me to turn off my cell phone.
Good morning, jurors.
I'd like to rouse a little trouble in the courtroom. Maybe I could get admonished.
It's nice to see you all as a group for the first time.
Oh my
Jurors, I hope you all
God.
had a nice holiday.
Right. Why is Earth Angel playing in my mind? Earth Angel, won't you be mine? I da 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 till the end of time. Earth Angel, won't you be true? Earth Angel, I'm just making it up now.
Break, and we're here to start the trial today. Before we go take any steps to further the trial, I want to go over with you and ask you each individually, as a group, but you're going to answer individually, whether you were able to.
She looks like Sandra Bullock's sister, doesn't she? Like Mrs. Congeniality, you know? Older sister. Aunt Congeniality.
Comply with my orders that I placed on you when you were impaneled. So the way I do it is I'm going to ask you the question. There's 4 questions. And then I'm going to ask you to answer once verbally, yes or no. And then
Okay.
no.
Okay, hit me with the questions. Do you find me ravishingly attractive? Yes.
Nod your head yes or no until
Yes.
you and I make eye contact. And I will scan first from the left.
Eye contact?
rear to the
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for eye contact. Can we... That sounds like a third date thing. I'm happy to give you a friendly wave from across the room at this moment, but only when you point at me and scowl.
right and front left to the right. And keep on nodding until you really know that I connected. Sometimes you think I connected and I didn't, and then I'll have a long pause. Sounds more complicated than this. It's really quite simple. Jurors, were you able to comply with my order that you not speak to anyone about this case?
Wow.
Were you able to comply with my order
Wow.
that you not do any research about this case?
We're just watching her connect with 24 people, and I'm not one of them. Maybe it's not
Were you
24.
able to comply with my order that you not go on social media or access any news media? And you all still have open minds? With those 4 questions all answered in the affirmative by each juror, we're ready to begin today's work.
Would you like the jurors sworn, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Members of the jury, if you could please stand and raise your right hands for me. Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will well and truly try the issue between the Commonwealth and the defendant according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? Thank you all. You may be seated.
Show us the judge.
Copy of the indictments returned by a Norfolk County grand jury. Mr. Walsh, if you could stand, please.
Fucking court reporters always trying to soak up the limelight. Judge now!
Norfolk Criminal Indictment Number 2023-0091 alleges that Brian Walshe, a Cohasset in the County of Norfolk, on or about January 1st, 2023, at Cohasset in the County of Norfolk, did assault and beat Anna Walshe with intent to murder her, and by such assault and beating did kill and murder said Anna Walshe in violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 265, Section 1. Members of the jury, to this indictment, the defendant has pleaded that he is not guilty, and he has placed himself before his country, which country you are, for trial. If he is guilty, you shall say so and no more. If he is not guilty, you will say so and no more. Thank you, Mr. Walsh. You can be seated.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So jurors, as I told you in the impanelment period, you will be responsible for deciding this case. Please pay careful attention to the evidence that you'll see and hear during this trial. When the evidence is complete, I will explain the legal rules that you must apply to decide this case. You will then meet in private to discuss and consider the evidence, apply those rules, and work together to reach a unanimous verdict.
When are we meeting in private, Judge?
Before we start the trial itself, I'm giving you some initial instructions, also known as the pre-charge.
Take off my boots, take off my belts. Got
I will explain the indictment
it.
that Madam Clerk just read aloud and describe what will happen during the trial. I will explain my role as the judge.
I like some element of surprise. You don't have to explain everything, Judge.
The lawyer's important role, and your role as jurors. I will discuss some of the legal rules that apply to this case, and I will explain and remind you of some important things you must do and must not do during this trial. A moment ago, Madam Clerk read the language of the indictment in this case. An indictment is a legal document that formally accuses someone of a crime. The indictment in this case charges Mr. Walsh with committing murder. The indictment is not evidence in this case, and the fact that the defendant is facing this charge does not mean that he is guilty of committing any crime. As I told you when we were choosing you as jurors, the defendant has pleaded not guilty to the charge. And at the end of the trial, you, the jury, will decide whether the prosecution has proved the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Let me give you an outline of the trial. When I finish these initial instructions, the prosecutor and the defense will make their opening statements. An opening statement is a summary of what the lawyer expects the evidence will show. After the opening statement,
I think that's a bit of a stretch. It's more like what they hope the evidence will show.
you will hear testimony from various witnesses. The evidence may also include documents and other things. The prosecution will call witnesses first. Then, the defendant will have the chance to call additional witnesses if he chooses to do so. Both sides may question each witness. After you see and hear all of the evidence, each side will make their closing arguments to summarize the evidence and suggest conclusions you may reach based on the evidence and the law. The lawyer's opening statements and their closing arguments may help you make sense of the evidence you see and hear during this trial, but the openings and the closings are not evidence. At the end of the trial, I will instruct you in detail on the legal rules that you must apply in deciding this case. And I give them to you both orally, as I'm doing now, but you get written copies of the charge that go back with
Orally,
you
huh?
as well. You will then discuss the case in private and work together as a jury to agree on a verdict.
I'll discuss anything in private.
Let me next address the roles of everybody in this courtroom, and I'll start with myself first. As a judge, I am responsible to make sure this case is tried.
You're the boss, right? Like you're the boss? Be the boss, baby.
Fairly, efficiently, and according to the law. I must make sure that you see and hear only evidence that's allowed under what we call our rules of evidence. Those rules determine what evidence the lawyers may and may not present to you. The purpose of these rules is to make sure that what you see and hear during this trial is relevant to the case and appropriate for you to consider. If one of the lawyers says objection, that means that that lawyer thinks a particular answer or an exhibit that's being offered violates those.
Cameraman lacks confidence. He's putting his fucking fingers over the top of the frame to change the focus. On what? Zoom in on the judge, camera boy. Like, what a moment he has. She's speaking. Zoom in.
Rules of evidence. If I'm not persuaded by the objection, I will say overruled. That means that the witness may answer the question, or the other party may show you the exhibit, and you may consider the answer or the exhibit as evidence. If I instead say sustained, that means that the witness may not answer the question, or that the proffering party may not show you the exhibit, because under our rules you may not consider the answer or the exhibit. If I sustain an objection, you may not talk about or try to guess or speculate what the answer might have been. There are times when I may say to you, disregard something or allow a motion to strike, something that you've already heard or seen. If that happens, that means that the testimony or exhibit that I strike, you must disregard it and you may not consider it. As the judge in the case, throughout the trial, there may be times when I give you mid-trial instructions on a particular area of law. And at the end of the trial, I will give you, as I said, those detailed oral and written instructions.
There we go.
Let me next talk about the role of the lawyers. The lawyers in this case have their own important role. Their
They can
job
wait
is to bring
outside.
to your attention the evidence and arguments that best support their position. They may also object to evidence, as I just mentioned, offered by the other side. Please don't hold it against any of the lawyers if they make an objection. The lawyers have to let me know when they think there's a potential evidentiary issue that I need to decide.
I just can't stop thinking how lucky this lady's comb is. Every day, just waits by a mirror to be run through her judicial locks of windswept authority. Look at that. Me and you, baby, Cape Cod this weekend. I could show you quite a time.
Let me next talk about your role. Jurors, you have the most important role in this trial. After you have heard and seen all of the evidence in the case, you will decide who and what to believe, and whether the prosecution has proved the defendant is guilty of the crime charge based on the legal principles I explained to you. You must decide this case based only on the evidence you see and hear inside this courtroom and on my instructions on the law. You may not decide this case based on suspicion, guesswork, or speculation. The evidence consists of the testimony of the witnesses that you'll see from this witness stand, as you recall it, and any other documents or things that become exhibits in the case. Other things that you see and hear during this trial are not evidence. Again, the opening statements and the closing arguments, not evidence. And the questions that the attorneys ask, they're not evidence either. A witness's answers are evidence, but a lawyer's questions are not. A very important part of your job as jurors is to decide who and what to believe. Whether testimony is contradicted or it is not, it is up to you to decide whether you believe it. You may believe everything a witness says, part of what a witness says, or none of it. The same is true of each exhibit. You must decide whether you believe what it shows or you do not. In deciding who and what to believe, you should ask and consider some important questions. First, was the witness honestly trying to tell the truth or deliberately lying? Though witnesses take an oath to tell the truth, sometimes a witness says things that a witness knows are false. If you conclude that a witness lied to you about something, then of course, you should not believe that part of the testimony. Second, was the witness accurate? Or did the witness get something wrong without meaning to do so? Sometimes a witness may recall seeing or hearing something, but still be mistaken. If you conclude that a witness tried to be truthful, but that some part of that person's testimony wasn't accurate, then you should not consider the inaccurate testimony. I have no opinion about who or what you should believe, or about how you should decide this case. So please don't take anything that I do or say throughout this trial to suggest to you what you should believe or how you should decide this case. I want to next talk about fairness. Our system of justice depends on judges like me and jurors like you being able and willing to make careful and fair decisions. All people deserve fair and equal treatment in our system of justice, regardless of their race, national origin, religion, age, ability, gender, sexual orientation, education, income level, or any other personal characteristic. You have agreed to be fair, and I'm sure that you want to be fair, but it's not always easy. One difficulty comes from our own built-in expectations and assumptions, and they exist even if we're not aware of them, and even if we believe we don't have them. Some of you may have heard of this as called as implicit bias, and that's what I'm talking about now. As a judge, I have the same problem as everyone else, so let me share a few strategies that I found to be useful. First, slow down. Don't rush to any decision. Hasty decisions are more likely to reflect stereotypes or hidden biases. Second, keep an open mind. Avoid drawing conclusions until the end of the case when you and your fellow jurors deliberate. Remember that when you deliberate, you will have all the evidence and all the time you need to make a careful decision. So there truly is no need to start making your mind up before then. Third, you should listen closely to the witnesses. That's the best way to ensure that you decide this case based on the evidence in the law instead of upon unsupported assumptions. Fourth, as you listen to the testimony about the people involved in this case, consider them as individuals rather than as members of any particular group. Finally, I might ask myself, would I view the evidence differently if the people were from different groups, such as different racial, ethnic, or gender identity groups? At the end of the case, I will remind you of these strategies and ask you to focus on the evidence instead of any unsupported assumptions you may have. All we ask is that you individually and as a group do your best to resolve this case based on the evidence and the law without sympathy, bias, or prejudice, to the best of your ability as human beings. I want to turn now to certain legal principles and rules that you must follow in this case, and I will discuss these again in more detail at the end of the case. But here are some key things that you need to know from the beginning. First, let me talk to you about the presumption of innocence. As I told you during the jury selection process, every person who is accused of a crime is presumed to be innocent of the crime. Mr. Walsh is presumed innocent of the charge in this case. That means that you must consider Mr. Walsh to be innocent now and must still consider him to be innocent at the end of the trial unless the prosecution has proved beyond a reasonable doubt through evidence presented during the trial that the defendant committed the crime charged. And I will explain what I mean by reasonable doubt in just a moment. The defendant does not have to do anything to convince you he is innocent. He does not have to explain anything to the jury. The defendant does not have to testify, call or question any witnesses, or provide any evidence at all, because you must presume he is innocent. Instead, it is up to the Commonwealth to prove the charge against the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt. This burden of proof never shifts to the defendant. At the end of the trial, after you've seen and heard all of the evidence, you will deliberate with each other, meaning you'll discuss the evidence and decide on a unanimous verdict. If you have a reasonable doubt about the defendant's guilt on the charge, then your verdict must be not guilty on the charge. You may find the defendant guilty of the charge only if all 12 deliberating jurors agree that the Commonwealth has proved the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. So the burden is on the Commonwealth to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of the charge made against him. What is proof beyond a reasonable doubt? The term is often used and probably pretty well understood, though it's not easily defined. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond all possible doubt, for everything in the lives of human beings is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. A charge is proved beyond a reasonable doubt if, after you have compared and considered all of the evidence, you have in your minds an abiding conviction to a moral certainty that the charge is true. When we refer to moral certainty, we mean the highest degree of certainty possible in matters relating to human affairs, based solely on the evidence that's been put before you in this case. I have told you that every person is presumed to be innocent until he or she is proved guilty, and that the burden of proof is on the prosecutor. If you evaluate the evidence and you still have a reasonable doubt remaining, the defendant is entitled to the benefit of that doubt and must be acquitted. It is not enough for the Commonwealth to establish a probability, even a strong probability, that the defendant is more likely to be guilty than not guilty. That is not enough. Instead, the evidence must convince you of the defendant's guilt to a reasonable and moral certainty, a certainty that convinces your understanding and satisfies your reason and judgment as jurors who are sworn to act conscientiously on the evidence. That is what I mean by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I've told you that the Commonwealth must prove the charge here beyond a reasonable doubt. To do so, it must prove each element or component part of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. As I said, the charge here is murder, and the Commonwealth is proceeding on the charge of first-degree murder on a theory of deliberate premeditation. In order to prove the defendant guilty of murder on the theory of deliberate premeditation, the Commonwealth must prove 5 elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that the defendant caused the death of Anna Walshe. Second, that the defendant intended to kill Anna Walshe, that is, the defendant consciously and purposefully intended to cause Anna Walsh's death. Third, that the defendant committed the killing with deliberate premeditation, that is, he decided to kill after a period of reflection. Fourth, that the defendant did not act in proper self-defense or proper defense of another. And fifth, that there were no mitigating circumstances. Those are the basic 5 elements. And really, jurors, what I'm trying you to absorb at this point is that there are 5 component parts. And each of those component parts, the Commonwealth needs to prove, again, beyond a reasonable doubt. Let me talk about some of the housekeeping matters that you may be thinking about. One or two of you may asked about these actually when you were being selected as jurors, and I'll start first with note-taking. At the end of the trial, when you meet in private to deliberate, you will have all of the exhibits with you. We cannot provide you a transcript of any of the witnesses' testimony, however. So you're going to have to rely on your own memories of what each witness said to you. You may take notes during the trial, if you wish, and our court officers will pass out at an appropriate time a notepad and a note writing implement, a pen or a pencil. I don't know what we have here today. Some jurors find it helpful to take notes while listening to the evidence. It may help you focus on the testimony and to remember what witnesses said. Some of you may not want to take any notes, and that's perfectly fine too. Whether you take notes or not, it's entirely up to you. Whether you take notes or you do not, you need to pay close attention to each witness and what they say. In deciding who and what to believe, you should watch and listen carefully to each witness. Think about whether the witness seems believable, whether the witness's memory seems reliable, and anything else about how the witness testifies and what the witness says that helps you determine whether and how much to believe that witness. When you deliberate at the end of the trial, remember that it is your memory that counts. Your notes may help jog your memory about what a witness said, but they are not a substitute for what you and your fellow jurors remember about the testimony. Do not assume that because you or another juror wrote something down, that it is more accurate than your or another juror's memory of what the witness actually said. Your notes are confidential. No one, including me, will read them. The court officers will collect your notebooks and your writing implements at the end of each trial day and will keep them safe, and they'll be returned to you the following morning. And at the end of the trial, I will order the court officers to destroy any notes that were taken. Next I want to talk about your comfort. If you have any trouble seeing anything, hearing anything, if you need an unscheduled break, please raise your hand and one of the court officers will come over. We'll make the necessary adjustments. I remind you that we take a morning break at about 11 o'clock, and that's usually...
I usually don't like Massachusetts trials because all of that hear ye shit makes me feel like I'm stuck in a horrible play. A kind of reenactment play from those places where you go to tan leather and churn butter. What are they called? Reenactment places. Horrible. But the reading of the jury instructions, very favorable to the defendant. I'd be happy with that. It was way kinder to the defendant than what we would see in Florida, right?
Usually about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on what I have to do during that time. And then we proceed on to the lunch hour at 1 o'clock. We take a break from 1 to 2. And then the afternoon session is the longest session, 2 hours long, between the hours of 2 and 4. So you can predict your day, how your day will lay out most days that you're here. If you need to communicate with me at any point during the trial, again, let one of the court officers know and they'll get me the information. And do it through a note is the best way. Finally, jurors, I'm not going to give you the longer version of this because I just asked you about this morning. But it's imperative to the administration of justice in each criminal case, and in this one, that you abide by those rules that you agreed to. If anybody needs another written version of the order that I gave to you, I have plenty of them. Don't hesitate to ask. But I remind you, no social media, no news media. Don't do any research about this case on any medium. Don't talk to anyone about this case. And continue to have open minds as you listen to the evidence in the case. It's the first thing that I'm going to ask you every morning, and it's the last thing you're going to hear me remind you of every night. All right?
Danielle Savoy, welcome back. Hello, Danielle.
See the lawyers at the side of the bench.
Got a brand new judge today, Danielle. Smoking. She's been telling me what to do for about an hour. In my mind. I want to see you in chambers. You're the one they call Metrix. Yeah, I heard about you. I heard about what you said about me. So you like the way I look, huh? Where's our modern app? Everybody run over to the modern app. Yeah, there it is. Here it is. Support the goddamn channel on the modern app. It's modern, it's quick, it's easy. Link in the description. PayPal.me/True Crime Metrix. Yeah, what a wonderful thing they've done with their modern app. So easy, so fresh. Just right in the palm of your hand. Anytime you think, hey, you know what I'd like to do today? Support Metrix. Head on over to the app. Link in the description.
Jurors, I know that you will try this case according to the oath that you took this morning. In that oath, you promised you would well and truly try the issues between the Commonwealth and the defendant according to the evidence and the law. If you follow that oath, approach this case with an open mind and make your decisions fairly and without prejudice or bias or sympathy for anyone, then you will arrive at a just and fair
Oh, I'll awry. I've gone awry.
verdict. It's now time for the opening statements. And you will find that there are customs in the law.
Okay, I haven't
Customs
seen
in the
these
law
yet.
that Dictate.
This just happened today. Did anyone see Gazilla K's coverage? What's happened there? Is that crystal meth? No, she was just talking so quickly. It's great to see the enthusiasm. I can do that too, just on straight coffee. I was only joking about the crystal meth. I'm sure whatever Gazilla K is using is 100% legal above board. Coffee. Probably just coffee. Hey, that's a great way to support the channel too. buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrix. Yeah, that's a good way too. Also PayPal. It's modern. There's an app.
How the case plays out. And the first custom I'll alert you to is that the Commonwealth opens the case first. ADA Connor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Here we go.
Your Honor, may it please the court?
It does?
Oh, let me hear that again. May it please the court.
Your Honor, may it please the court?
It does?
Whoa.
On
Yeah,
January
it does.
4th, 2023, Teresa Marchese returned to work after New Year's holiday. She works at Tishman Speyer, and she is the Director of Human Capital Management. That is to say that she's the Director of Human Resources. And Tishman Speyer is a real estate management company, but it's a global real estate management company. It has buildings all over the world. And this office that Ms. Marchese works in is in Washington, D.C. When she returned to her office in Washington, D.C. that morning, she was alerted that one of her coworkers' husbands was trying to find her coworker. The coworker was Anna Walsh, and her husband is Brian Walsh. Teresa Marchese knew Anna Walsh because she hired her. She hired her in February 2022 to work at the Washington, D.C. office of Tishman Speyer and to manage some of those buildings in Washington, D.C. She also knew that Anna Walsh commuted from Cohasset to Washington to work at Tishman Speyer, and that her husband, Brian, and her 3 children were still in Cohasset at this time. She also knew where Anna Walsh lived in Washington, D.C. Anna Walsh had bought a townhouse right near where Teresa Marchese lives in Washington. So when she heard that Brian Walsh was looking for Anna, she got concerned. And she spoke to her boss, Jeff Chubb. And the two of them went into a conference room and called Brian Walsh. Brian was calm, and he said that on January 1st, Anna left their Cohasset home for a work emergency and had to fly back to Washington, D.C. And he hasn't spoken to her since then. This is the longest they've ever gone without speaking. So, Teresa Marchese went and drove to Anna Walsh's townhouse. She took another employee with her, and on the way there, she had another conversation with Brian Walshe. Brian was calm, and he gave her the combination to the garage so Miss Marchese could get into the building. Miss Marchese got there. She was able to look in the windows. Nothing was broken. Nothing was out of order. She got into the garage, and she found some cardboard boxes that had yet to be unpacked, some car seats, no car, no Anna Walshe. Now the door from the garage to the home, that was locked, so she couldn't get inside. So, Miss Marchese called Mr. Walshe back again, and she told him that she was going to loop into this conversation Tishman Spires' global head of security, who also works in Washington, D.C. His name is Hugh Dunleavy. He's a retired Secret Service agent. Mr. Walshe is calm. Mr. Dunleavy is looped into this conversation on the phone, and Mr. Walsh's demeanor changes. He becomes very upset. Mr. Dunleavy calms him down, asks him a series of questions, and Mr. Walshe repeats. Anna left the home in Cohasset on January 1st to come to Washington, D.C. for a work emergency. Mr. Dunleavy follows up. Have you called the police? What is the local police department in your town? You live in Cohasset. You need to call the police. The call ends. Mr. Dunleavy works with the Washington police and helps facilitate them getting into the home in Washington, D.C., and Anna is not there. He also calls the Cohasset police just before noon on January 4th. And he reports Anna missing. Hugh Dunleavy from Washington, D.C. calls the Cohasset police, and that is the first time Anna Walshe has been reported missing to the police. And it was done just before noon on January 4th. And no one has seen her since January 1st. Over the next few weeks, it'll be the honor of Ms. Cusick, Ms. Yaz, and myself to represent the Commonwealth. And in that time, we will prove the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the premeditated murder of his wife, Anna Walshe. And we're going to do that by presenting evidence. And evidence will come to you, as Her Honor pointed out, in two different forms. One is kind of tangible. You'll see photos of the family home in Cohasset at 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway. You'll see videos from different stores. You'll see Anna Walsh's banking records. You will also see objects, like a Tyvek suit, like a hatchet, like a hacksaw. Now, in addition to those objects, you will hear from witnesses. Witnesses like Teresa Marchese and Hugh Dunleavy, who I just mentioned. You'll also hear from a group of witnesses that are Anna Walsh's friends and colleagues. They will tell you that Anna was 39 years old in January 2003. She was married to the defendant. She had 3 children. They'll tell you that she was a Serbian immigrant, that she came to this country and began working in the hospitality industry by working in hotels in Washington and Massachusetts, and that she transitioned to real estate. She got the opportunity to work for Jem Mutlu, who had his own real estate company. She actually wound up running that company for him. That was until February 2022, where she got what Brian Walshe would refer to as a dream job, where she got to work for Tishman Spires, and she would make more money than she had ever made before in her career. She had purchased a townhouse in Washington, D.C., and she was expecting to have her family come with her. However, Brian and the children had stayed in Massachusetts. And the reason is that Brian had previously pled guilty to a count of fraud in the Boston Federal District Courthouse, but he hadn't been sentenced yet. Now, he was accused of owing over $400,000 of restitution. At this point in time, Anna was the breadwinner for the family, and she had moved to DC. She was still commuting back and forth, but looking to have the family join her in DC, and Brian too. However, when she bought the townhouse, she did this with the aid of a real estate agent by the name of William Fastow. She was introduced to Mr. Fastow from her former boss, Jim Mutler. Mr. Fastow will testify, and he will tell you that they became friends, and that friendship became romantic. And that carried on into November of 2022, when Anna needed to go visit her mother, who was sick back in Belgrade, Serbia. Anna flew to Dublin, Ireland, the weekend of Thanksgiving, and Mr. Fastow joined her for that weekend. She then flew and visited her sick mother in Serbia, and then would return back to the United States. Mr. Fastow.
Anyone else having trouble following this guy? A little bit disappointed with the microphone, Chet. Cha, you know. What happened? Who's who? Who's what? It's not easy to follow. I don't know what's going on. Bad sign.
After Dublin, would go back to Washington, D.C. But Anna missed Thanksgiving with Brian and the children. And then on Christmas Eve that same year, Anna went out to dinner with Mr. Fastow. They went out to dinner in Annapolis with another couple. And she stayed the night. And she was supposed to get a flight out on Christmas Day. But she couldn't get a flight. So she had to drive up from Washington, D.C. to Cohasset. And she missed Christmas Eve and most of Christmas Day with Brian. She would fly back to Washington, D.C. And on December 29th, she would go to dinner with one of her friends, who will testify before you. And that friend will say that she was uncharacteristically tired and emotional. You'll also hear from the...
You see, City Boy knows. This prosecutor is kind of a nerd, pretty bland opening. Yeah, wish the judge would admonish him or something. Speak stern, Judge.
Series of witnesses that dealt with Anna Walshe right before New Year's. She returned back to Cohasset on December 30th, and she was going to stay with the family until January 3rd. You'll hear how she went to a bar class, B-A-R-R-E. It's an intensive ballet class. You'll hear from the instructor, who will say that she did exceedingly well in that class. A person who was with her in a nail salon will testify. She got her nails done on New Year's Eve. And Mr. Mutlu will testify. He went over to the Walshe family residence on New Year's Eve for dinner. 3 adults were there. It was Mr. Mutlu, Brian, and Anna. He got there around 8:30. He brought some snacks for the kids. Actually got to play with the oldest child. And he spent the night talking to his friends. He'd characterize them as jovial. They shared champagne. They weren't drunk. They were enjoying the new year. They actually signed the champagne box. And you'll see that, where they were looking forward to the new year. Brian cooked. Brian was attentive. Brian also said to Mr. Mutlu that night that he had lost his phone, it had been misplaced, but he had felt free as a result of it. Mr. Mutlu left that home on New Year's Day at 1:30 a.m. And there was no mention of a work emergency in Washington, D.C. that would require Anna to fly out or leave the family home at 6 or 7 a.m. that day. Now on January 4th, after Hugh Dunleavy had called the Cohasset Police Department, the Cohasset Police Department dispatched Officer Greg Lawrence to go speak to Mr. Walshe at his home. Officer Lawrence went. He was met outside by Brian Walshe. Brian Walshe informed Officer Lawrence that Anna had left on January 1st, had taken a Uber or Lyft to Logan Airport to fly out to Washington, D.C. for a work emergency. Gave her a phone number for Anna Walshe, described her as 5'2", that she was 39 years old, approximately 115 pounds. He hadn't heard her. Officer Lawrence went back to the Cohasset Police Department, worked with other Cohasset police officers, trying to find any connection to Uber or Lyft or local taxi cabs. Cohasset police would then begin the process of pinging Anna's phone. You're going to get to see the records from that, but essentially the process involves the cell phone carrier, in this case Verizon, sending a signal out to the phone to try and locate it.
Oh, it was Verizon, not Sprint or the other one? Yeah, great. Thanks. Not guilty.
And the Verizon records will show that the last time that phone that belonged to Anna Walshe interacted.
Judge is looking ready to pounce. She's like a fucking panther, isn't she? Up in a tree. Waiting. Watching. Ready.
The network
Hungry.
was shortly after 3 a.m. on January 2nd. And when it did so, it was in the area of the Walshe home. That same day, Cohasset Police also tasked Detective Schmidt with investigating this case. He and Officer Lawrence would go back to the Walshe family residence at 516 Chief Justice Cushing Highway and interview Brian Walshe. And he recorded it. You'll get to hear the recording. And Brian will talk about how Anna was commuting back and forth from Cohasset to Washington for work, how there were some issues with his federal case, and how Mr. Mutlu had come over for dinner that night on New Year's Eve, and how Anna had to leave between 6 and 7 on January 1st. He also, in that interview, described what Anna was wearing when she left the home. Blue-gray hunter boots, a black jacket, and an Hermes watch. So Sergeant Schmidt will testify before you, and he will tell you that he worked on this missing person investigation and called in additional resources to help. On the 5th, he had his own department do a search of the woods near the family home. On the 6th, he called in a task force made of several different police departments to do further searching of the woods in and around the Walshe family home. Contacted the state police to use their resources. He also got the opportunity to speak to Mr. Walshe on January 5th, January 7th, and January 8th. And when he did those interviews, he was accompanied by detectives from the state police. And those interviews were recorded. And you'll get to hear those interviews. And Mr. Walshe, during those interviews, will explain that he and Anna were happily married. He had no knowledge of any extramarital affair. That Anna had her dream job. That it was taking care of the
Dream job, dream husband. Does anyone want to see some pictures of them together? Let's, she's really, really nice looking. I think she's from, Serbia. Save image. Oh yeah, yeah. Don't forget the modern app to support the goddamn channel on the modern app. Easy, easy. Here. Pictures, pictures. Where's the pictures? Oh. No? Where? Ah. There we go. Look at them. Doesn't his face tell you everything you need to know? I know what he likes. what he hates. I know how he sits down in a restaurant and orders a meal. I know how he pays for gas in a gas station. I know everything. There's another one. He's always got this face. Look at this one. Save image. Oh. Okay. I mean, how did she put up with this? Look at this one. This is even worse. Oh no, hang on. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Screenshot that puppy. And then go down, 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 down. Ah, yes. This one. Oh, no. I mean, where are they? Somewhere high up, I'll bet. Somewhere a little cold. He's got to wear a scarf like he's just descended from Mount Everest. Don't go up there! I think I saw an original Warhol. I'm going back for it later. Because he was selling. Oh yeah, do you want to see the fake Warhol and the original Warhol? How do we do that? Let's have one more picture. Let's have one more picture of them together. And this is the face. Right, they're not together here. This is after his arrest and after her untimely death. What a waste. And not just beauty, brains as well. Yeah, she was more successful than he was, and she actually worked for a living. How about that? He took the easy way and still couldn't keep up. So this is the face that everyone was talking about years ago. Look at him. Doesn't it just like feel like he's trying to rip you off through the picture? Yeah, you want to see these Warhols? Step outside. I got a couple of them in the trunk of my Crown Vic. No, they're in transport from Sotheby's to the Guggenheim. Yeah, in New York City. Yeah, I'm the transport manager for the priceless original art pieces, the collection. Yeah, anytime that's in transit, they call me. Anyway, what were we going to look at now? We were going to look at something else. Well, there's a Lifetime special. The series. No, the searches for Anna Walshe. Oh. Well, that's not a drama. That's like a TV show on NBC. What really happened to Anna Walshe? God, check her out. With that nice jacket? What are you going to murder her for? She looks so nice. Check this one out. You know, she's got a jacket on and her shoes are all in the right places. This one. My God. And is that their house? I think it might be, right? Oh, there's a bedroom over there. I guess it could be a hotel. It looks like a hotel, doesn't it? If that's your house, I don't know. I hope it's a hotel. I couldn't live in there. It looks too much like a hotel. Hands up in chat whoever's house looks like a hotel. Does it feel more like a hotel than a house? Is that good? Is that like a good thing? I don't know. But, oh, she's taking a picture of herself. Okay. Maybe this is when she was trying to escape. God. It would have been great if she could escape. Just get to safety. You know, find a way out. Now she's dead. What a waste. What a goddamn waste.
Family, and conversely, he didn't take a salary this year out of his company that was a consulting company. He told the police that he owed over $400,000 in restitution on his federal matter, that this case was causing stress on his marriage, that he might have to go to jail. He said that they were very happy and that the biggest problem was that they were apart. Brian also told the police that Anna's job had caused her to miss Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with the family. And that Anna traveling to visit her sick mom caused her to miss Thanksgiving with the family. And that he did not want to have an argument with Anna about missing another holiday on January 1st. He had a discussion with her about Christmas Day. He was concerned that by him looking around trying to find her, that she embarrassed her. So he tells the police, I didn't want to have an argument. So I understood she was going to come back, and she left. So that
Oh, I don't want to cover up the judge.
You'll also have access to financial records that will show that Anna Walsh had approximately $200,000 in accounts at Fidelity.
Oh,
And that there was over $1 million in life insurance in Anna Walsh.
she had money as well? Ah.
And that Brian Walsh was the beneficiary of those policies. And in addition to the Cohasset police, the Massachusetts State Police.
Man, if my wife looked like that, I'd go to jail. Rather than kill her. You know. You'll do 5 years, you'll get out, and she'll, you know, hopefully be there. That's better than knowing that she's never going to be there ever again, ever at all, anywhere.
Police also worked with them on trying to find Anna. You're going to hear from two troopers in particular, Trooper Nicholas Marino and Trooper Connor Key. They are digital forensic specialists. They have special training in examining computers, tablets,
Yeah, well, I'd hope
phones.
so.
And in this matter,
Special training, yeah? Well, we would assume and hope. What did you say their job title was? Advanced Forensic Analyst Tech Evidence People. And they have special training, do they? Well, fucking good.
they had the opportunity to examine a MacBook, iPads, and cell phones that were at the Walsh house. And they will explain that on Christmas Day, when Anna had missed Christmas Eve and was, after spending the evening with Mr. Fastow, and was driving up from Washington, D.C., the cell phone that Brian Walsh was using looked up Mr. Fastow.
And remember, everybody, there are no ads on this video. And how are we able to do that? Because people like you support the channel. No ads on the video. Not one. Not a single one. And why? Because it's a nice, long, open format courtroom special. And how are we able to do those nice, long, open format courtroom specials? Because kind people, strangers and friends, support the channel on buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrix and paypal.me/True Crime Metrix on the modern app. Oh, no. Hang on. Wait. On the modern app. There it is. Right there on the phone. Yeah, right there on the phone. An instant way to support Metrix and to help keep those no ad videos coming your way.
Fastow on the internet. And that on December 27th, a MacBook that used the Apple ID for Brian Walshe, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, researched best strategies to divorce for a man, best state to divorce for a man, Washington, D.C. divorce laws. On December 29th,
Should we look that up now with AI? I don't think AI happened before when he was searching. So what are we searching? Best strategies to divorce for men. I wonder what comes up. Let's have a look here. Should we put this all up on the screen now? Yes, that's what we'll do. Oh. Not hating that came up. Where do we go? Is this it? Is this it? I think this is it. So, what is this? Best strategies to divorce for men. For any men out there looking to get divorced right now and wondering what the best strategy is. To navigate a divorce, men should prioritize financial preparation by gathering all financial documents, seek professional help including legal counsel and therapists, and focus on emotional and parental well-being by maintaining communication and minimizing conflict. Strategies include understanding your... So how from that did he get, well, beat her to death? Yeah, I read the advice. It pretty much said, beat her to death and hope for the life insurance. Strategies include understanding your financial situation, getting legal advice early, finding a therapist or coach for emotional support, and trying mediation to reach agreements, especially concerning children and finances. Maybe you don't understand French, but there's a little something in this world called finance. Support the channel on buymeacoffee.com and PayPal. Financial and legal strategies. Organize your finances. This just says the same thing over and over. Gather all financial documents, including bank statements, mortgage details, and information on joint accounts. Understanding your financial picture before taking further steps. Secure your finances. Consider opening a separate bank account to avoid using joint accounts if possible and start saving for legal fees. Especially in the States where they're really, really big. Consult a lawyer. Seek legal counsel early to understand your rights and obligations. A lawyer can guide you through the legal process and help with financial matters. Sorry. Consider mediation. Mediation can be a useful tool to help you and your spouse agree on issues like property custody and alimony without going to court. Well, it didn't work for Dan Markel, did it? Explore court costs. Research options for your spouse to pay for some or all of the divorce costs, which may require a separate application to the court. Emotional and personal strategies. Prioritize mental health. Engage with a therapist or a divorce coach to help manage the emotional impact of divorce and develop coping mechanisms. Focus on your well-being. Isn't that the same as prioritize mental health? Focus on your well-being. Discover and reconnect with your own interests and hobbies. Hey, if you like model railroad, you go and get a model railroad. As they will provide support during this period of change. Exercise is also highly beneficial for mental and physical health. I mean, you don't need to get divorced to fucking know that. That's probably why you need a divorce, because you spent all that time on the couch. Communicate calmly. When possible, communicate calmly with your spouse and try to avoid conflict. This is especially important for the well-being of children. How many people get married and then just, I mean, what is the appropriate amount of time to pass before you can start completely ignoring your wife? Seems to be the common thing that people do. I don't know. Why would anyone want to do that? Why? Why would anyone want to get married? I don't know. What else can we do? So those are the strategies. I mean, didn't really tell us much. It said, know where you stand legally, get prepared to pay, and, do stretches sometimes. Great. Thank you, Google. Thank you, AI.
Brian Walsh's cell phone was researching buildings that Anna Walsh managed for Tishman's Fire and emergencies she had handled for them in the past. Trooper Guarino will also explain to you the internet history of that MacBook that had Brian Walsh's Apple ID beginning on January 1st. At 4:54 a.m., the MacBook searched best way to dispose of a body, and then went to similar websites for more than an hour. At 6:24 a.m., same day, the same device searched how long for someone to missing to inherit, how long missing to be dead. Can you throw away body parts? Later on that morning, on January 1st at 9:33 a.m., the MacBook went to search how long does DNA last? And then an article. Is it possible to clean DNA off a knife? 30 minutes later, the MacBook.
Is it possible to clean DNA off a knife? What a stupid question. Yes. It is possible to clean DNA off a knife. What the fuck are you talking about? How is that even a question? You just have to really scrub it.
Research disposal of a cell phone. At 10:28 a.m., the MacBook researched, I am the user of my wife's credit card. She is missing. And again, on January 1st, at 11:28 a.m., it searched, best way to dispose of body parts after a murder. Trooper Guarino will explain the numerous websites and searches done by the MacBook in the morning and early afternoon on January 1st, and that these websites were about cleaning blood with ammonia, bleach, and hydrogen peroxide. Websites visited included those as whether it is better to throw away crime scene clothes or wash them. One site was entitled, You Want to Get Away with Murder? Use a special deterrent. This type of activity on the MacBook continued into January 2nd, when it looked up, how long does Lowe's keep security footage? How to saw a body. How to dismember a body. Can you be charged with murder without a body? Can you identify a body with broken teeth? The MacBook also visited websites for apartment complexes in Brockton and Chelsea.
Can you identify a body with broken teeth? Translation of the message. After I've killed her, should I smash in her teeth to help myself evade culpability? Should I what if I got in my truck and just kept running over her head? Would that smash up her teeth so bad that they wouldn't know it was her? Great. Great moment to get to in your life when that's your search term.
One in particular, Chatham West in Brockton. Brian Walshe told investigators that his phone, which was an iPhone 13 mini, had been misplaced and not found until the afternoon of January 2nd, 2023. When
Oh, he doesn't believe
investigators
that.
examined that phone, they learned that it had been connected to a power source. And it had been unlocked 4 times by either using the face or the passcode. Investigators will also tell you that the location data from that phone showed that it remained in the Walshe residence until the afternoon of January 2nd, 2023.
No, I lost my phone.
However, there was another phone
Couldn't
in
find the
Walshe
phone.
residence, an iPhone SE, which belonged to one of the children. When investigators examined the location data from that phone, they found that on January 1st, the phone traveled to a Walgreens in Cohasset, then to a liquor store nearby the defendant's mother's home, an apartment complex in Swampscott, to a CVS in Danvers, to a Lowe's in Danvers, and to a Stop and Shop in Swampscott. You will see the surveillance video from those stores. You'll see the video from Walgreens, where a white man with dark hair using a credit card buys Band-Aids and antibiotic. You'll see on the surveillance video at the CVS in Danvers that a white man with dark hair, now wearing a mask, buys hydrogen peroxide using cash. You'll see the surveillance video from the Stop and Shop in Swampscott, where a white man then goes
He's
buys
wrapping up.
ammonia with cash. And you'll see the surveillance video from the Lowe's in Danvers, where a white man wearing a mask and dark hair buys several items that cost more than $400 using.
Yeah, the rocket scientist, brilliant, absolutely. Should I smash in her teeth? Should I run her over her head with my truck six times?
Cash, including a Tyvek suit and cutting instruments such as shears, snips, and a hacksaw.
Yeah.
The investigators will explain how the cell phone location data from the
How can you hack up your wife? Like this wife. I mean, I can understand some people, you know. But this one was really nice.
iPhone SE shows that it went to a Home Goods in the morning of January 2nd, and that Brian's iPhone 13 mini went to a Home Depot in Rockland in the afternoon of January 2nd. You will see the surveillance videos from those stores. You'll see a white man with dark hair at Home Goods buying scented candles and area rugs. And you'll see a white man with dark hair at the Home Depot buying more cleaning supplies. 20 pounds of baking soda, mop, buckets, and a hatchet. The investigators will
Michelle!
also explain to you that Brian Walsh's cell phone on January 3rd.
How you doing, Michelle? Do you know Brian Walshe? We're watching the Brian Walshe trial right now. It just started today, opening statements today, so we're having a little recap over opening statements. We're loving the judge. She's stern, she's mean, she's so many things, and she ain't taking no shit, I can tell you that.
Was located near apartment complexes in Brockton. You'll see the surveillance videos from some of the apartment complexes, including one of Chatham West. You'll see someone going to the dumpster and then leaving. The investigators will also tell you that on January 5th, Brian Walsh's cell phone was in the area of dumpsters and a trash compactor by his mother's apartment complex in Swampscott, and that this was before he was interviewed by Detective Schmidt later that night. On January 9th, the police went to those dumpsters, and they took that trash compactor and that dumpster to a facility in Peavey where they searched the contents of both. And they found an Hermes watch, blue-gray hunter boots, a black coat, a COVID vaccination card with Anna Walsh's name on it, rugs, a Tyvek suit, a hammer, shears, snips, a hatchet, and a hacksaw. The police will tell you that these items were packaged and brought back to a laboratory, and they were brought there for examination. And how some of these items were examined for DNA. And the DNA was compared to samples they had from Anna and Ryan. And scientists from the state DNA lab will identify DNA of Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe on the Tyvek suit. They will explain that Anna Walsh's DNA was found from items in the dumpster, including drugs, the hatchet, and the hacksaw. Jem Mutlu said goodbye to Anna Walshe about 1 o'clock, 1:30 a.m. on New Year's Day. When he left, she was home, she was alive.
Joel Guy Jr. and his book of premeditation. That's what he called it. That's what he wrote on the front of the notebook that he wrote his whole murder plan in. The book of premeditation. Couldn't you just remember that? Like most of his plan as well was like, yeah, to stab Dad, get knives. You'd think that you wouldn't need reminding of that, would you? I mean, get killing knives, and then he comes back and he adds the word killing knives. So not just any knives, but killing knives.
She was with her husband. No one has seen her since her husband said...
Stephen McDaniel. No one has seen her since Saturday. God, you know what happened to me today? I got sucked into a prepper world. And I didn't know, really. It was the sort of thing I just judged. I didn't know anything about it. I just judged it without knowledge. Which is probably the right stance to take if it attracts people like Stephen McDaniel. But anyway, I was judging it from a distance without knowledge, and then something popped up on YouTube, and I was like, well, I'll fucking watch this. It was a video about advanced prepping, right? So not just stocking your fucking soup cans and toilet roll and bottling water, but where to go in an emergency, right? So it was like, in an emergency, when there's no food or resources or power, and everyone's being, all the public are going into, I don't know, some disaster center, right, where the government are going to come and help you. These people are saying, no, don't do that, because, what you need to do is find, like, a brewery. Now, I know what you're thinking. But actually, a brewery is an excellent place for a huge amount of sustainable food in way of grains and barley and stuff like that, right? Water purification, right? So they can purify the water in there with those vats and those machines. And a water supply. It was like, yeah. You need to start thinking less about your kit and your food supplies and more about how to position yourself in a crisis. And I was like, fucking hell. Now I'm going to start watching prepper videos and I'll be like Stephen McDaniel. Probably not. Probably for the best. Stay away. Just judge it from a distance. Don't get involved.
She left. on January 1st. She has not accessed her finances, her email, her phone has made no calls, and no one has found her body.
What hunter boots? Did she have hunter boots? I bet she did, didn't she?
During this
You want to see some pictures, Michelle? We've got some pictures of the happy couple. Oh, there's our divorce advice for men. What was his search term? Look at the pictures of the happy couple. Oh. Oh, doesn't he look like a gem? What a sweetheart. And not untrustworthy at all. Oh. Tell you who does look like a gem, though. She does. She's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. Oh. Look at that happy-go-lucky champ. That fucking pie face. How many pies do you have to eat to do that to your face? I don't know. What do you think his favorite pie was? Chicken and mushroom? Steak and ale? One more. The ultimate grifter grin. The fixed conman glare. Look at him. You want to buy a Warhol? Yeah, step outside. Have a look in the back of my Crown Vic. 2 genuine Warhols.
In this case, we ask two things. The first is that you keep an open mind. Do not rush to judgment, but instead, see how all the evidence fits together. Pay careful attention to the timing of certain events. And second, use your common sense. Don't leave it home. Bring it with you here as you make your examination of every piece of evidence. And at the end of this trial, we will speak to you one more time. And it is at that time we will ask that you find the defendant guilty of murdering his wife with deliberate premeditation. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
88
you.
Connor. Trish, why don't you take a break and stand up, shake a leg?
Shake a leg. Shake something.
And when you're
There
comfortable
is.
and regain your
Paper plate
focus,
pie face.
you may be seated.
Has he got a rosary? Has he got a fucking goddamn rosary on his hand?
And when you're comfortable
wait.
and regain your focus,
Pause.
you may.
Ah! What is that? It's a rosary on his hand, isn't it? And he's kissing the cross. Is that what he's doing? All right. Is there a Catholic in the audience? What does it mean if you have a rosary in court? I saw Stigmata with Patricia Arquette. Scared the shit out of me. Was it Patricia Arquette? You know, the one who played Alabama Worley in True Romance? Let's look it up. Stigmata. 1999. Patricia Arquette, there she is. And Gabriel Byrne. Anna Cusack. Is that the one who played Macaulay Culkin's mom in Home Alone? I think it is. What is she doing in a scary movie? Oh, she was in League of Their Own as well? The fuck? No. Who was she in that? She was Shirley Baker. I guess she was one of the players, right? Along with Gina.
Maybe see her. Now we'll hear from the defense for the opening statements. Attorney Tipton.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, hang on. We wanted to check if he was kissing his rosary beads.
And when you're comfortable and have regained your focus, you may be seated.
Looked like he just coughed on them. I'm not sure if that's... I'm not sure. Hey, any Catholic, let us know. What does it mean if you cough on your rosary beads? Is that bad? Look. It looks like he's going to kiss them, like, you know, the body of Christ. But he coughs on them. Splutters all over them.
And when you're comfortable and have regained your focus, you may be seated. Now we'll hear
You're
from the
Italian,
defense for
Michelle.
opening statements. Attorney Tipton.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Dinosaur Defense Counsel.
Brian Walshe lied to the police. Lied to him on January 4th, lied to him on January 5th.
No notes. No notes. I got my hands in my pockets because I'm talking to you straight. Like we're in a bar. Imagine we're in a bar. I'm not even a lawyer. I'm just in a bar. I'm going to tell you a story. Little story I know about a man called Brian Walshe. Maybe you heard of him.
Lied to him. Brian Walshe lied to the police. Lied to him on January 4th, lied to him on January 5th, lied to him on January 7th.
True blue tattoo. We have a Catholic. We have a Catholic confirming I'm Catholic. He's praying for his arse. Good job. Good job. But the coughing, you know, just doesn't feel like the coughing is going to help him out.
Brian Walshe went to Lowe's and bought tools. Brian Walshe went to Home Depot and bought tools. Brian Walshe.
Members of the jury, have you ever been to Lowe's and brought tools? Bought tools? You don't bring tools to Lowe's? Or Lowell? Isn't it just Lowell? No, Lowell's. Lowell's.
Beginning about 4:54 a.m. began a frantic and tragic search that you'll hear about. You'll hear the evidence of that. You will hear evidence that those searches evolved from how best to dispose a body to even darker subject matter. As he wrestled with the fact that Anna Walshe was dead. That evidence that you will hear will be hard to understand, but it is true. On January 1st of 2023, Jim Mutlow left the family home of Brian and Anna Walshe sometime between 1 and 1:30 in the morning. Anna and Brian Walshe continued to celebrate the news. They went upstairs to the bedroom. About an hour later, you'll hear evidence that Mr. Walshe got up, went back downstairs to clean the kitchen. You'll see evidence that he looked at his email You'll hear evidence that he then returned to the bedroom, intending nothing more than to crawl into bed with Anna Walsh, the woman he loved. When he entered the bedroom and began to get into the bed, he sensed something was wrong. You will hear evidence that it made no sense to him. But he nudged Anna, his wife. She didn't respond. He nudged her again, a little harder. She didn't respond. He nudged her now in a frantic and panic reaction to where she actually rolled off the bed. You'll hear evidence that now he is panicking and he doesn't understand what has happened and what is happening.
Yeah. He doesn't understand because he's not regular folk like us, you know. You see, I've got no notes. We're just in a bar. I passed the bar, and now we're in a bar having this conversation like regular layman folk. Hello, David Anderson Kirk. Or David Anderson Clark. Where's your brother? Where's Clark? We know Clark's out there somewhere. Tamer Nagel, hello. I never heard of this case. It just started today, Tamer Nagel. It's the Brian Walshe case. Should we bring up a picture? There he is. There he is at the point of arrest. The paper plate pie face of a man. He was conning people into buying fake Andy Warhols. We had a picture of those. Let me show you those. Brian. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so these are real. These are real. These are real. Authentic Andy Warhol shadow painting. I mean, if you were gonna choose one to fake, it'd probably be this. But the originals, how much are the originals worth? They're not the best. Where's the fucking soup can? That's what everyone wants to see. Or you know, that actress. You know, what's her name with the hair? You know. Marilyn Monroe. Or Elvis, you know. But mainly soup. Anyway, those are the originals, authentic. But his ones were these. Now this isn't really, well, hang on. Let's go to his fake ones that he was selling. We kind of need to see them side by side, don't we? Can I do that? Those are fake. And now we need another one. Oh, say goodbye to the coffee badge. No, we need that. We need that. We need everybody to see the coffee badge. Support the channel on PayPal and link in the description. This one. This is the one. No. This one. So over there, yeah, his are way darker. Way darker. And he's got it all mixed up there backwards. It's no good at all. Yeah, so he'd sell those to someone, and then they'd call up saying, "Yeah, listen, you still got my deposit? I had a friend come look at these, and he says I should get my money back." He's like, "Oh, really? Oh, well, no, yeah. Oh, I'm out of town, but I'll have my girl fax you a copy. I'll send it right over." And then nothing came. So He was in a jam with the law. He had this gorgeous wife. Where's his wife? Bring up his wife. Show me the wife. Where's the wife? There she is. Whoa. Hello. And she was really nice and had money and life insurance, and she didn't approve of all of his illegal shit. So she was like, you gotta stop doing that, and the law's gonna make you pay, and you know. So he was like, well, she's nagging the shit out of me, and if I kill her, maybe this problem all goes away and I won't do time. The ironic thing is that if he did the time, he'd have probably been out by now. And now he's on trial for murder. But he says he didn't do it, which is why we're having a trial. But he does admit to disposing of the body, which they never found, we don't think. But there is lots of evidence that says that he cut her into pieces and disposed of her like that. I don't know if he's admitted that or if he's just like, I did dispose of her, but I'm not telling you how. Anyway, rough. What a waste. What a waste.
It didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make sense that somebody that he had just been with and enjoyed New Year's Eve into New Year's Day would suddenly be dead. Not it. You will hear evidence in this case of sudden, unexplained death. You will hear evidence that it is rare. You will hear evidence that it happens in young people and old people. You will hear evidence it happens in male and female. You will hear evidence it happens during the day and during the night, that it happens. You're trained athletes.
During the day, during the night, you'll hear evidence that it happens at certain months of the year. And then other months, days of the week, it happens. It happens. Yeah. Back to law school, law boy.
You will hear evidence that it can be the result of both mechanical and or electrical problems within the body. You will hear evidence that it might be cardiovascular, pulmonary, neurological, or other reasons. You will hear evidence that it occurs in people who have never manifested a symptom that something might be wrong. And in fact, you will hear evidence that sometimes the first manifestation that something is or was wrong with someone.
David Anderson Kirk, sitting in the Bay Area with a collection of Warhols. He also drives a Volkswagen Beetle, original, 1962. And lives on a hill. And what else? Oh, multicolored flower pots. You got a designer coffee table? I bet you fucking do, don't you?
Is the sudden, unexplained. That's the evidence you will hear in this case. Sudden, unexplained death is known within the medical community and the forensic community. But it is to this day not well understood, and that is the evidence you will hear. And it is not well known to non-medical professionals. And you will hear evidence. Brian Walshe.
Tamer says, I went to this museum in NYC that had an exhibit with floating pillows. And he made them when he decided to leave paint. That's such an artist thing to say, isn't it? I've decided, everybody, that I'm leaving paint. I came to paint. I was born in paint. But now I'm leaving paint. Thank you, Tamer, for the cup of coffee on buymeacoffee.com. That is the best place to support the channel, as well as PayPal. And Yeah, thank you so much. What did Tamer say? Tamer said something about a smiley face. We love that. We love that smiley face. Thank you, Tamer. Yeah, leaving paint. As a medium with it was a bunch of floating silver balloons. I was like, what the fuck? Let's check it out. Floating pillows. Whoa. Floating pillows. Oh, yeah. I saw this somewhere. Or maybe I just saw it in a book. I don't know. Yeah. I'm leaving paint. But, I think you see yourself in the room like mirrors, right? And it goes all freaky. But you could do that at the balloon store. Any fucking party shop. Save image and then show image. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. This one. Floating pillows. So nice. You wouldn't want to use one, would you? Unless it's thermal. Emergency space pillows. Yeah. Now, I bet the point is that you've got to look in the mirrors of the pillows. It's conceptual. Fucking, where's Yoko Ono?
Never imagined somebody suddenly died. 1 hour he's with her, he cleans the kitchen, he comes back up, and she is dead. You will hear evidence in this case.
He came back up after buying all that murder stuff down at Lowell's, and then he found her dead. And he thought, well, I could call the police. But what if I disposed of the body? Hey, Rebecca Ross. 1001, or is it 1001? Used to be a place. What was it? It was like 3 things in one. It was a bar, it was a breakfast shop, and a club. 24/7. 1001, Brick Lane.
Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe loved each other. Yes, there was stress in the marriage. Stress born out of a simple problem that took its toll.
A simple lying problem. There was stress in the marriage. He was a con man, lost all their money in schemes, and legal pressure was mounting, and there was stress in the marriage. Stress. It was so stressful, they called it stress. I am so stressed right now.
And that's the pending federal case that had begun in 2018 and was still going forward. And what happened was, over time, Anna Walshe got a job in D.C. with the support of Brian Walshe. It was a huge stepping stone in her career. It paid twice the salary. And they talked about it, and you will hear evidence that they had to make a decision. Brian could not leave Cohasset because of the pending federal case. So who would take care of the children while Anna worked in D.C.? Brian would. And he did. There was stress in commuting back and forth between D.C. and Cohasset. Brian Walshe experienced that stress too. And Anna Walshe and him they talked about it on Christmas Day of 2022. And that's what the evidence will be. Yes, there was an affair. You will hear evidence of an affair. An affair does not make someone a bad person, does not make someone a bad mother. Make no mistake about that. But yes, there was an affair, not between Brian Walshe and anyone, but between Anna Walshe and William Faster.
Good for her. I wish it was me.
Will be that Anna Walshe did everything she could to hide that affair. That she did not tell her closest friends, her confidants, some of whom lived in D.C., the same person, Alyssa Kirby, that she spent December 29th with, drinking and talking about her life. She hid the affair. William Faster will tell me that he was unaware of any plans of Anna ever telling Brian about the affair. William Faster will testify that they behaved differently in public in D.C. to make sure there was no appearance of the affair. William Faster will testify that Anna Walshe told him she would be devastated if Brian ever learned about the affair. Brian Walshe didn't know about the affair. He did know. Anna Walshe had a crush on William Faster because she told him. And he did not react in a jealous way. And you will hear evidence that over the close to decade that these two people were in love, and all you have to do is look at the evidence and the photograph you'll see of Anna Walshe. And the evidence will establish she is a beautiful woman. And it was not unusual for her to comment to Brian. I had some man look at me today. I think he liked her. That didn't upset Brian, not over a period of 10 years. And when she told him that she had a crush on William Fastow, the man who had sold them the $1.3 million townhouse in D.C., it didn't upset Brian. He trusted her. In fact, you will hear evidence from Alyssa Kirby that Anna Walshe told her, I wish he would be jealous. You will hear evidence that there was no financial issues or problems. Anna Walshe had just got that job in the early part of 2022 that paid close to $300,000 a year. They owned that townhouse in D.C. It was worth over $1 million. They owned whole life insurance policies on their sons in the amount of $1 million each. Whole life that you will hear you can borrow against if you need cash. You will hear evidence that Brian Walshe's mother gifted them money, and actually you'll hear from the landlord of the home that they were living in at the time that Brian was living in, taking care of the 3 boys while Anna worked in D.C., that it was his mother who was paying the rent, because that's what grandmothers do. There was no financial problems here. They owned investment property in Massachusetts. The evidence in this case is that Brian Walshe loved Anna Walshe. You will hear that she spoke of him in glowing
He loved her. He loved her to pieces.
terms to William Faster. That she said, I want people to see the Brian that I know. You will hear how she talked about her relationship with Brian with Alyssa Kirby. And notwithstanding the fact that Anna Walsh was having an affair. She described their relationship as open and honest. He believed their marriage was open and honest because he loved her. You will hear how she described Brian as her best friend to her friend Alyssa Kirby. You will also see evidence of text messages that you may use to determine for yourself if there was love between these two individuals. The importance about those text messages that you'll see is simply that they're dated. The ones you'll see are dated beginning December 25th of 2022, 7 days before New Year's Day. On 12/25, Anna Walsh and Brian Walsh are texting each other, and she is sending him 7 properties, listings, primarily out of Zillow, 7 listings of properties in the greater DC area, Bethesda, Annapolis. They're searching for future investment properties. You'll see that, and you'll hear evidence that then she comes up to celebrate Christmas with Brian and their 3 beautiful boys. You'll see on 12/27, now that she's back in DC, these text messages between them. And they're talking about one of their properties. And they're talking about the fact that it, in fact, sold. So now they need to figure out what to do with the proceeds. You'll see on 12/28, text exchange between Brian Walsh and Anna Walsh. Now, she's back in DC. She's not feeling well.
Yeah, they could have been looking at your house, Michelle. Annapolis, looking at properties.
Telling Brian, I don't feel well. So I'm going to stay at home and work at home today in DC. And they joke. And on the text, Brian says something like, well, I guess I'll have to get you a plunger. Anna responds, I'll tell you what. I'll buy the plunger. You buy me that Porsche. Why? Because Anna Walsh wanted a Porsche.
The name of the movie is... Oh, I love it. That's going on a fucking t-shirt. I'm putting that in big blue letters today. Where's my big blue pen? Here it is. What is it? I'll buy the plunger. You buy the Porsche. Shit, was it? P-O-R-S-C-H-E. Yeah. The fuck. I'll buy the plunger. You buy the Porsche. Need to hear it again. This is fucking brilliant.
Home and work at home today in DC. And they joke. And on the text, Brian says something like, well, I guess I'll have to get you a plunger. Anna responds, I'll tell you what. I'll buy the plunger. You buy me that Porsche. Why? Because Anna Walsh wanted a Porsche. And what you see on that text exchange, right after she says that, is you'll...
So the line is, I'll buy the plunger. You buy me that Porsche. I like our version better. We're going with the shortened, I'll buy the plunger, you buy the Porsche line for the t-shirt and cups, mugs.
You'll see postings that he sent to her of the Porsches he'd been shopping for the woman he loved. And you'll see in his medical that he was shopping for Porsches because she had asked for one. On 12/29, you'll see a text exchange between them where they're talking about a 3-story brownstone that she had found that maybe they'll buy for investment. And you'll see the text references to how much it cost, the square footage it's up and below. You'll see text exchange between them where they're talking about possible renovations in the future. They are talking about the future.
Yeah.
This is on 12/29.
And we are talking in a bar. I passed the bar, but I'm a normal guy like you. Passionate, no notes. Don't need notes when it's the truth.
And then on 12/30, simple texts between them about her catching her flight from D.C.
Simple what? Simple Texas. Texas? Was he looking at properties in Texas? Got down to Maryland. Why not go Lone Star? So it was an open marriage as far as Anna was concerned. Well, that's the only kind of marriage that makes any fucking sense. Consensual non-monogamy. Think about it.
To get to Cohasset for New Year's. She texts him, I've landed. And what you see in those text messages are she begins to send Brian pictures of her playing with boys now that she's reunited with her 3 beautiful boys again. And then you see 7 pictures sent by Brian Walshe back to Anna, taken of her playing with the boys. And how do they sign off these texts? You see them. Brian says, love you. And Anna Walshe says, love you too.
Love you too. And the other guy. But you know about it, so it's okay.
We've come full circle in this opening, and now we're back to New Year's Eve. And Jim Mutlow, the family friend, is invited by Anna to come to the house to celebrate New Year's Eve. You'll hear evidence that he was thrilled. He was thrilled to be with 2 people he'd known for years.
Yeah. Do you think he would have come back? Yeah, I got you a Porsche. It's a fully loaded, well, half-loaded, 1993 Porsche 944. Yeah. No, it was expensive. I paid over $300 for this. And one of the tires is a space saver, so you're going to have to take it to the shop. But you wanted a Porsche.
But he hadn't seen in some time. He knew their kids. 3 beautiful boys.
Uh-oh. Not the beautiful boys thing again. The fuck? I had enough of that in the last trial. Those boys, when I think of those boys, those beautiful, innocent boys. Fuck off. Not guilty. Donna loves those boys. Not guilty. It wasn't her.
He'll describe how when he drove up in the driveway, Anna Walshe ran down the driveway in her heels, no coat, on a cold winter day.
Cold winter day. You know what's great for a cold winter day? A beautiful, nice, new, fresh, modern app. Go to PayPal. Go to the app. Be modern. Go to the app. And support the channel on the app. The PayPal app. The link is in the description. Also, buymeacoffee.com. But the great news about PayPal, it's instant. It's instant. It's literally instant. What a great way to support the channel. Instantly. Now.
Hugging. And then what happened? They all went into the house. And what was occurring in the house? Brian was cooking. New Year's. He was feeding them as they all talked for 4 to 5 hours. And what were they talking about? They were talking about the future.
He was feeding his family, which he always did. I was saying earlier how he just looks like a guy that loves lobster, right? This guy would walk into a restaurant, lobster restaurant, pick out the biggest one in the tank, sit down, put on one of those big bibs that they give to you, and get ready to break some claws. He's up in Massachusetts. I'm sure they got lobsters there, right? They got them in Maine. They can get them in Boston or whatever. Yeah, probably.
Sure. They were talking about investments. Anna Walsh told a story about how Brian had found a ring for her and the whole adventure of finding the ring and buying the ring. She talked about it in glowing terms when she talked about how Brian did that. Mr. Mutlow will describe that for the 4 or 5 hours that he was there, he saw no problems between them. Said that Brian was happy and Anna was happy. He described the
Kind of
atmosphere-
reminds me a little bit of Mr. I always forget his name. Who was the Sarah Boone attorney? Mr. Shit. His goddamn name. Because I remember if you said it quick, it sounded like another name. Morris, was it? Mr. Morris? Sarah Boone's attorney. The hell was his name? Anybody in chat? Where's our lady of information? It's driving me mad. His name was Owens. James Owens. Thank you. Oh, what's this here? We got some new news. Sarah Boone's lawyer, James Owens, and sexual assault allegations in the 1990s. Okay, this was posted on Reddit a year ago. It seems like James Owens and Tony Henderson, her other lawyer, got into a bit of trouble with the law and sexual assault. It's pretty crazy. Allegations were made and a large serious investigation ensued. I can't seem to copy this as a document in a file. I only have the link. The link is what? 1998, February 3rd, at approximately 1700 hours, S.A. Carl Corsi, what was that? Special Agent Carl met with Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department, SRCSD, fucking hell, it's long, Investigator John McCurdy at Milton, Florida, concerning an investigation in which the victim alleges James Owens and Tony Henderson sexually assaulted her. Henderson is an assistant public defender and Owens is a local attorney. Because of this, the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department requested that Florida Department of Law Enforcement conduct the investigation. Blah, 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 blah. Report incidents. Here we go. That she was at Stevie D's bar located on Highway 90 in Milton, Florida, where she planned to meet a friend, Mark Bowles. While at the bar, she was approached by Owens, who is known to her. Henderson, whom she also knows, eventually joined, and Owens told about a date he was going on later in the evening. Later, Owens asked to meet him at his car in the parking lot. When somebody exited the bar, Owens was already sitting in his car with the motor running as if he were preparing to leave. Henderson was leaning in the window talking to Owens. Owens asked somebody to have a seat in his car, and somebody complied. I think we know who that is. Shortly after getting into Owens' car, Owens asked somebody to leave with him and drove away from the bar. Somebody asked Owens where they were going. Owens indicated that wherever they were going would only take a minute. Owens then pulled up to his house and asked somebody to come inside, which somebody agreed to do. After arriving at Owens' house, located at somewhere, Milton, Florida, somebody and Owens were joined by Henderson. While at Owens' residence, Owens called her into another room, a bedroom, and began kissing her. Somebody pulled away, and Owens grabbed her and forced her onto the bed, face down, and began pulling at her clothes. A short time later, Henderson entered the room with his pants down and his penis exposed. Henderson slapped somebody in their face with his penis and tried to get somebody to perform oral sex on him while Owens was sexually assaulting her, vaginally penetrating her with his penis. You know, just want to put it out there. Just... Somebody complained that Owens was hurting her and became hysterical. Henderson told Owens to stop, and both Henderson and Owens ceased their action on somebody, after which Owens told Henderson to take somebody home. Somebody got into Henderson's car. However, Henderson did not take somebody directly home. Henderson told somebody that he needed to stop at the public defender's office in Milton, Florida, at the public defender's office. Henderson approached her and exposed his penis. Henderson then drove somebody home. Somebody went to a personal physician's office for an exam which, according to somebody, revealed some trauma. A sexual assault and evidence collection kit was not used. However, Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department officials seized the clothing that somebody was wearing during the attack and took photographs of several bruises somebody sustained. Investigator McCurdy supplied Special Agent Causey with a copy of the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Department Incident Report 98005650. A copy of the incident report will be maintained in the 1A section of this case file. Fucking hell. So that's pretty serious, isn't it? But I guess there's a lot more information here. Maybe we'll have to do a short Owens expose. There's quite a bit of information. We should read the whole thing later, but not today. Today we're doing this guy.
Jovial, festive. He described it as loving. As adults do for New Year's Eve, they celebrated with wine and champagne.
Yeah, Jay and Chicken Cacciatore were the lawyers for the state. So, good news, you get half a point.
You will have that box, or at least photographs of that champagne box, where they signed it. What Anna signed on that box. She wrote, "Let's make 2023 the best one yet." She went on to say, courage, love, perseverance, compassion, joy, and signed it, love. Nothing was more important to both Anna and Brian but those three beautiful boys. They had talked about the problem of the federal case. It was stressful. When you heard in the Commonwealth's opening the reference to a divorce search, please understand that the other evidence will be that that singular search occurred between conversations between Anna and Brian about the sale of their property. You'll see that that search occurred about 8:30 on 12/27. And why is that important? The evidence will show that the only time Anna Walshe talked about divorce with William Fastow, she talked about it in terms of Brian and I attempting to preserve the family assets. Why is that important? Because yes, there was $400,000 of restitution that was going to come due. And yes, Brian may have had to go to prison for some time. And what did that mean? It meant that there was going to have to be arrangements, not just to pay the money, which wasn't going to be a problem, but the boys had to move up to D.C. because Brian could no longer take care of them. And there would be all that added expense. And they went so far as to talk to Robin Howe, their nanny, their babysitter, and asked her if she would consider moving up. So there were expenses. So when you talk about preserving the family assets, you have to decide, how is it that I make sure, how is it, as Brian Walshe will tell you, how is it that I make sure that my wife and my 3 sons are financially secure if I have to go to prison for a day, for a week, for a month, or for years? That's what they were talking about. And in all of the other digital data that the Commonwealth has been poring over for 2 years, you will not hear evidence of any other conversation about divorce. And you won't hear it from William Fastow. In fact, William Fastow will tell you he had resigned himself to think Anna Walshe was never going to leave Brian, father of their children. Jim Mutlow left around 1:30. Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe went upstairs. He went back down to the kitchen about an hour later to clean it up. And then the impossible, the unimaginable happened. It didn't make sense to Brian Walshe. It was confusing.
Yeah.
He
He was
never
confused.
thought anybody would believe.
Yeah, he was really confused. He was going to Google and say, well, you know, if I smash her teeth in after she's dead, will they still be able to identify her? Maybe if I drive over her head with my truck 6 times, they'll never know. He was confused.
That Anna Walshe was alive 1 minute and dead the next. And all he could think about were those 3 boys. What would happen to their 3 boys now that Anna is no longer here? What will happen if they think he did something bad to Anna? Where will those 3 boys go? And so, he told the story. He told lies. He tried to hide so he could hang on to those boys. Brian Walshe never killed him. Brian Walshe never thought about killing him. He would never think about that.
Never.
Brian Walshe is not guilty.
No, thank you. No plea to say, and at the end of these proceedings, we hope you will make a just choice. And a choice for not guilty. No thank you either, just like Brian Walshe is not guilty. And I calmly walk away.
Jurors, once again, why don't you stand up, shake a leg?
Shake a leg, shake a something.
15 minutes
Like a
before the
knick-knack.
break. But it's been a long little
Paddywhack.
stretch here, so I can either break you now or we can start the evidence. Does anybody, just a show of hands, need a bathroom break? Okay, hold on for 15. All right, we're going to take a break early, and we'll see you back in about 20 minutes.
All rise to the court, please.
Front row. What are they going to do now? First witness? Oh my God, he's up there already. Well, how long is he up there? I don't know. Yeah, all right. Well, I guess we'll. I mean, the title was opening statements, right? So any more than that wouldn't be fair to you or me. To support the channel, please leave a like on the video, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and also support the channel on PayPal. Oh no, where's our app? Modern, so modern. It's an app. It's easy. Support the goddamn channel. PayPal me. PayPal.me/True Crime Metrix or buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrix. Best and the very best. That's why we put no ads on this video, because of people like you. Great people, good people. People that support, people that give back, people that earn. Right? Yeah, right there on the app, waiting for you to learn and earn everything. We'll be back tomorrow with this case. Maybe, baby. Maybe I should do that thing where I put up all the videos with independently named and best audio, only best audio, mastered, yeah, this is the best one. Maybe. Or is that a waste of time? I never know. Is that good for the algorithm or not? I don't know. I tell you what is good for the algorithm is likes, subscribes, comments, shares, and participation. Good. Well, I'm going to go, and we'll be back tomorrow with something, whatever it is. I don't know. Good night, and thank you for coming here and being here and living here and staying here. And yeah, it's been good to see you, and we miss you. And we hope you come back again tomorrow on the 2nd, December 2nd, 2025. I'll never remember the day. I'll never forget the day. I'll never forget to remember where I was on that day. Here with you, waiting. So what do? We close that one, and we close the badge also, and then we press this. Good night, all. Thank you for chatting, super coffee go getting, super sticker giving, and super bulletproof Metrix moderating. Thank you. We like it. We love it. We love you.